Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Which Ohio State Buckeye makes the most sense for the Jets with the number 2 pick in the draft? Joe Blewett's breaking down the film on Arvell Reese and Carnell Tate, and you will decide what the move the Jets should make. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
I let the organization down, and I let the players down, and that burns me. It really does. This season's on me, and we're going to work our ass off to get this shit exactly where it needs to be.
A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Mougey are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super Chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. We are presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Welcome in. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We got a lot to talk about related to the New York Jets. We are going to start our film breakdowns on some of the top draft prospects and guys that could be in play for the New York Jets with their first-round picks, 2 and 16. And today we're talking about a pair of Ohio State Buckeye teammates. For more on that, we say hello to our guy, Joe Blewett from JetsXFactor.com. Joe, happy Tuesday. Bob Saleh is a head coach again, and the New York Jets search for a DC continues. How we feeling?
I'm feeling good. Like it's a more exciting time than it was 3 or 4 weeks ago. So it's fun looking into prospects and all that stuff. Still a little bit down about the Jets' future, but best thing we can hope for is for them to hire some good coaches. We'll see what happens. Obviously, like the Leonard, interview. We'll see if he actually is brought in. And I like the dude. I forget his name from. He was Flores' second-hand man in Minnesota. I also saw that one pop up. So we'll see what happens with DC. But start looking into some prospects. I got like the next 8 or 9 weeks lined up, and then we can adjust. We got free agency, so our time to thrive until September. We have to enjoy football. So
that's right. Were you locked into the national title game last night?
Yeah. I was, while also taking care of a 2-year-old. So I was watching it, and I saw one of the guys that everybody's really interested in. Bain absolutely dominate, and he's a really, really fun prospect. And I do think he's one of the probably my top 2 or 3 options for number 3. I don't think Mendoza played overly well. I know he had some good plays in that game, but overall, I don't think he played that great of a game. And maybe I'm starting to root against him a little bit now because I know he's not going to be a Jet, and there's just that sinister part of me. But yeah, no, it was a good game.
All right, before we get to the film breakdown, Joe, give us your thoughts on Robert Saleh being hired by the Tennessee Titans. I just did a radio hit, podcast hit with a guy who covers Tennessee, and tried to give them the lowdown on Robert Saleh. I'll say this. I like Saleh as a person, and I normally would say I'm rooting for him. I have no ill will towards him, but I've been so annoyed today seeing the way that this hire has been discussed as if Robert Saleh had nothing to do with his 20 and 36 record, and that it was all just the Jets. It was all Woody Johnson. It was all Zach Wilson. It was all Aaron Rodgers getting hurt. And I just think that is so disingenuous by people to frame it that way. So now I almost don't want to see Saleh do well because I think it's a joke the way this is being covered, even though I like the man personally. Your thoughts on the Titans going with Saleh as their coach?
Yeah, welcome to my world. I don't know if that's again me just being like an old prick, I guess you could say, or something like that. But even Darnold at times, I want to root for him, but I kind of don't, because when the Jets get dunked on, people just forget he played for Minnesota and the Niners and all this stuff. But yeah, with Saleh, the messaging I've seen around, it's first a great opportunity with the Titans and all this stuff. It's we had the same thing with the Jets, with Zach Wilson, with Sauce, with JJ, with Brees and all this stuff. And maybe the fact that Aaron Glenn looks so damn bad this year year, like made him look better because it was much better with Saleh, which is crazy to say. It depends on who his OC is going to be. Like, is he going to bring in McDaniel? I wonder if that's going to be the case, because he definitely needs a good offensive mind around him. I think he would have been a little bit maybe better in a situation that's like more ready-made with the quarterback situation, and Cam Ward's still a little bit of a question mark, and that team still has a long way to go. So I think it's really dependent upon who he brings in as his OC, and if it's McDaniel, great. Then I think it could work out. But past that, I don't really know what other options he would go to. Or I obviously has a connection to the Niners and stuff like that, so there's some good minds there. But his OC hire will be huge, and so I like him personally. The whole I thought it was our time, right? Like, every team has their time. His brother was in the building, 9/11, all this stuff. It's meant to be New Yorker, and of course, what happened. So can't root against the guy personally. He's an ex-Jet though, so I can't really root for him at the same time either.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. Reminder, next week we will be live from the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama, talking with some of the top draft prospects, watching the Senior Bowl practices. Dom C will be with me. Dylan Terriman will be with me, and we will have comprehensive coverage every day on the channel starting this Monday. So keep that in mind if you're just tuning in. Also, we gave out our 3 weekly raffle prizes. We added a 4th one day of on the first show. Congrats again to our winners. We turn our attention now to raffle 58. Our top prize next week is a signed Curtis Martin helmet, and prize number 2 is a signed Joe Namath helmet. If you want to win either, make sure you gift your fellow Asmaniac a channel membership. Every membership you gift is how many raffle tickets you get. And of course, $10 super chat will get you 2 raffle tickets, $20, 5, 50, 10, 100 is 20, so on and so forth. Mr. Blewett, we got 2 Buckeyes that we're going to be breaking down today. The Jets are on the clock at pick 2. A lot of mocks, including the mock I did last week on the show from the Athletics' Dane Brugler. They had Arvell Reese going to the Jets with that pick. So we're going to start with Arvell Reese, the edge out of Ohio State. Before we get to specific plays, what were your expectations going into the review? And after sitting down and watching all the plays, what do we need to know about Arvell Reese?
Yeah, you obviously see the sack numbers aren't very high, so you want to see exactly how he's used. I think he rushed the passer like 150 times over the last few years, so you're not going to see a ton of sack potential. Or a ton of rush reps. And I actually watched Styles first, and I noticed the Reese, but I didn't think I noticed him as much as I wanted to. But once you actually get into his taping, into a little bit of the numbers, which I don't have like PFF and all that stuff, but you kind of see it a little bit on Twitter and stuff. He didn't rush the passer a lot. To me, if I was, and I'm obviously not Ohio State's defensive coordinator, I think that they should just strictly use him as an edge rusher. I think if the Jets were to draft him, and me personally, I would add a good 10, 15 pounds to him and make him a full-time edge rusher for the Jets, because some of the athleticism he has is ridiculous. And I think he's listed at 243. He's probably the strongest 243-pound dude I've ever seen in my entire life, just the way he stands up, like pulling guards and stuff like that. So you see the athleticism. He's definitely raw as a pass rusher, like stacking moves and setting up his moves and things like that. But in terms of like the blue chip talents, not like players right now, the blue chip talents, he may be only like one of 3 in this draft. I think that you probably it's probably him, it's probably Downs, and it's probably Love. So he's not a ready-made pass rusher. But if you have a staff that you believe in, which the Jets may not, then you could develop him into a very, very good player. And I think 20 years old. I think he's going to be 21 early into the 2026 season. So you have to consider that as well. He's very, very young, but immense upside. And I think if he were to play another year or 2 at Ohio State as a full-time D-end, he could be that true like blue chip number 1, number 2 pick. But because he's coming out a little bit younger, with not as much pass rush reps, he's going to not be considered like that blue chip player, but he's definitely a blue chip talent. So he was a fun watch for sure.
I'm excited to see what we have here. So whenever you're ready, we'll break down the film. If you guys have a question as we're doing this, the best way for us to get it read to Joe is to super chat it. Those always cut the line on the program. Reminder to hit the like button and make sure you are subscribe to the channel. Big thank you to everyone tuned in live and everyone who continues to watch after the fact, or everyone who listens in audio form on either Apple or Spotify. Joe Blewett is sharing his screen. We all now see what we're looking at here. So, Joe, point out where Arvell Reese is on the play, the number, and we'll break it down.
Yeah. So number 8 to the right side of your screen. And again, consider that he's 20 years old. He's 243 pounds. So it's a little bit of like it's an interesting situation with, and we can talk, I'm sure we'll talk about this a lot throughout the offseason and who, until they end up drafting whoever they do draft. But where do you fit him? I think he could be a 3-4 outside linebacker. I think if he added 10 pounds, he could be a D end. Now it'd be a little bit interesting to see how they fit him and Will McDonald. They're not the same player. Dude, if people call him Will McDonald, they cannot be more different in terms of like just the power, the recognition he has. He is such a more well-rounded athlete than Will McDonald because of the strength. But with that being said, how do you fit Will McDonald, him, and JJ on the field at the same time? Because you can't flex Arvell Reese inside, where a guy like Ruben Bain, who we'll talk about in a few weeks, you could flex him inside and you can play that like the JFM light type role where, you know, you have McDonald, JJ on the edge with Briggs and Bain on the inside. So it'll be a little bit interesting with the fit, but I don't, you know, to me, it's not like I get the positionless stuff with him. Just in general, I would play, if let's say he plays 60 reps a game for the Jets, 65, 70 reps, whatever it is, there would be like 2 to 5 reps maybe in a game that I would like drop him back into coverage. If you're looking at like a simulated pressure where maybe you overload the one side he's not at and then drop him back into coverage and like he walls off, you know, a drag route or something like that, or he drops into a short zone, or he drops into like a quarterback spy. I could see him doing that a few times a game. But if he's coming to the Jets, at least for me, you add 10 pounds to his frame, I don't think he would lose any of his explosion or athleticism. And then he's a massively strong 255-pound DN. So just consider that through this review, he's 243 pounds, 40 years old, or not 40 years old, 20 years old. So he has a way to go, or he has even some room for some more muscle and just overall mass. So he's number 8 right here. He's going to take on the left tackle. I'll play it through and then we'll just talk about it a little bit. And you could, it's ridiculous how strong he is. And this is one of those reps that kind of shows that. And, I think they're just running like they're running like an inside zone here, and he's holding that edge, right? So he wants to hold that C gap, and coming into contact, he does a good job of lowering his base, right? Working off of both of his insteps towards the left tackle, lands the hands inside, lands the hands first, nice leverage, right? Up and through the ground, into his hands and his head, ducking the head into the offensive lineman, stands him up, shocks him, pulls himself through, makes a tackle for a loss. Like you could tell some of the pop he has. That's pretty abnormal for a guy who is 243 pounds. Like very first game I'm noticing, like, damn, this guy is, I would say, and I'm not even just saying this for like, again, like that shock value, I think he's the strongest 243 pound guy I've literally ever seen. So first play there with the run stuff. And then this is some of the stuff he'd be doing for the Jets, at least in my mind, if you were drafted by them. So this is not something that Will McDonald is ever going to do. So let's cool it with the Will McDonald comparisons with Reese, because that is not who he is as a player.
Common Country says Arvell Reese is a Hall of Fame name.
Dude, Reese and Bain too. Like all the stuff you could do with Bain, with Gotham City and all of that stuff. Like the Bain,
you don't got to tell me. Yeah, look at your screen real quick, Joe Blewett. I've been all over this.
Let me see. My screen's actually lagging on my side. I don't know why it is.
Well, when you watch this after the fact, you'll see that Ruben Bain Jr. is Gotham's reckoning.
I can actually see it in the little window. I'm not lagging on my side. Am I, Jake? If I am, I'll restart. I don't know why it's. I don't know why I can't see that. But
you merely adopted the dark, Joe Blewett. I was born in it, molded by it.
No, we were all born into the dark. we're Jets fans, so Bain would be a perfect fit with us. Okay, so right side of the screen, if I am shared again, and a lot of the times too, like he's in a 2-point stance and rushing, or he's rushing as a blitzer, so like he didn't have a lot of like true reps where he's just 3-4 point stance, hands in the dirt, just taking off. So again, there's a lot of potential for this player, and I get it's a little bit of more of like a developmental pick, but in terms of the DNs, he has the most upside. If he reaches his ceiling, he's the best player of all these guys in my opinion. So he's definitely very fun to watch. So number 8 again, we'll play it and we'll talk about it a little bit. This time you have a rush win. Now, obviously the quarterback, gets out, which is actually a LAR. He gets out of the pocket here, but in terms of like just beating his man really quickly, he obviously can't control that. There's a clean way to get out to the right side. So it should be sack. It's a rush win. But some of the tempo here and the pacing is really nice from Reese in this play, because he comes off the ball a little bit more of like a slowed pace, just kind of reading the tackle set. As he reads the tackle set, right, sees a tackle sitting a little bit more inside on him, and he's not really getting a wide angle. And he's also partially probably reading that the running back is right here. And is he going to chip me? Is he not going to chip me? But again, closes ground with, again, that slowed pace, explodes to the inside, which forces the tackle to shoot his hands, and he kind of kicks back into his anchor a little bit, times the hands, leaping cross chop. So that really extended step with the left then to the right foot to then corner, takes care of the outside hand. And then we're going to see some of the bend right here, turns the corner quickly, and is right on the quarterback within, a second there. So again, he has this pass rush upside. When he actually rushes at the end, we're like, damn, dude, like the last 2 reps, you get to see how dominant he is at the collegiate level with the lack of reps and even the lack of size at some times, or just in general. So again, fun player. Fold blocker. So let me see where he is. So, okay. Now he's this, a linebacker, which again, I would do this 5 reps or less a game with him. You could line him up on a tight end. You can line up on a running back. He could play spy. He could play in short zones. I don't know why they did it as much as they did at Ohio State. He's definitely not the best in zone. He covers grass a little bit, and he's a little bit more tight for playing a linebacker, where on the D line, he's not tight at all, but I just don't love him at linebacker in general. Unless everything's in front of him. Once there's play action, there's some things behind him, he's not as good, but with everything in front of him, he's a very good player at linebacker as well. So just watch him. I believe he just absolutely folds the fullback right here on this play. Yeah. So just some of the power he has. So they're running a wide zone where the fullback is then climbing up to the backside backer here, which is going to be Reese, and you're just going to see some of like the power that he has in general. Again, lowers his body nice and low into contact, right? Really, really condensed right there. 87 tries to get condensed as well, but Reese is lower. He's stronger. Pops him in the chest, lifts him off the ground. Now, him, falling over the legs here helps a little bit, but he lifts him off the ground. I think he's probably going to fall down anyway, but absolutely mollywops the fullback there, gets involved in the tackle. So quite a few plays, 2 out of 3 plays already, you're kind of seeing just the natural strength he has. So I see some of the Will McDonald comparisons to him, and it could not be farther from the truth in terms of their power and who they are as players, how smart he is in the run game. He's very, very smart, like diagnosing runs and things like that. So not only does he have very high pass rush upside, but he could be, if not the best, one of the best run defenders too. Like I know Bain has that size, but he has that athleticism in the open field and then diagnosing skills that are top notch for his age. So
Matt Burns with a super chat here. He says, "How is his motor? Does he take plays off from time to time?"
No, absolutely not. Yeah, motor runs hot for Reese consistently. So he plays balls. He plays balls to the wall. I don't know if anybody plays as hard as Bailey does. Bailey legitimately looks like you're playing him at 1.5 speed. Like that's just how fast he plays. So I don't think anybody's motor runs as hot as his does. But I have no issue with Reese's motor at all. So
speaking of Bailey, Jet Nation says, how does he have the most upside when David Bailey got 14.5 sacks and hasn't even learned how to play football?
Well, one, Bailey is 2 years older. Bailey has a lot of pressures and sacks and things like that, but it's the overall athleticism. Bailey's it seems like he's a little bit tapped out with his frame and his body. His legs are uber skinny, and he's a very good pass rusher, and he has the widest variety of moves. So he's the most NFL ready pass rusher out of those 3 guys in the draft right now. But the upside, because of some of the lack of size and strength he has at times, I don't think he's going to ever be great in the run game. I think he could be okay in the run game, and more of his run plays in the collegiate game that he was successful at. It was more because of like effort and just being more athletic than the guys he played against, but the technique wasn't consistent. So I think he has a higher upside because the run game, he will be better in my opinion in the NFL, and then I think he's a better overall athlete. He just needs to develop the pass rush moves. So I'm not saying he's as good as Bailey right now in terms of the pass rush. Obviously, I said he has a way to go there, but the athletic upside is higher than Bailey. No doubt. I don't think you're going to find anybody who would disagree with the upside of Reese. Now, if you liked Bailey over him, I would understand because of the variety of pass rush moves, because of the explosion, because of the bend and all of that stuff. But I don't think Bailey will be able to sniff Reese's jockstrap in terms of the run game at the NFL level, just because of the strength differences. So
wow. That is a strong take there. I like hearing that. Ladies and gentlemen, Joe Blewett is our guest. We are in the middle of a film review for Arvell Reese. We're going to do the other popular Ohio State Buckeye that's been linked to the Jets at number 2. That's wide receiver Carnell Tate. But in honor of the fact we're trying to manifest the Jets hitting on a draft pick, let's do this for the giveaway today. Joe, you ready? Signed Armand Membu helmet. We will give you a chance to win it on this show and the show tomorrow morning with Nick Shine. So gift away to enter, and when you gift, you're entered in a new set of weekly raffle prizes. Joe Namath signed helmet and a Curtis Martin signed helmet are the top 2 in next week. But Armand Membu is the signed helmet of choice today in honor of the fact that we need the Jets to get the pick right, like they seemingly did with Membu at pick 7 in last year's draft. All right, we're going to continue the film breakdown right now. Again, if you have a question for Joe as we're doing it, I'll do my best to check the chat. SuperChats will cut the line, and Joe will be able to answer your question in real time. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Blewett, take it away.
Yeah, it's just so funny. Like I pause, I look at the chat a little bit, and somebody's like, "Oh, he's McDonald." It's like, what? Out of those 3 plays I showed, with 2 of them being dominant in the run game, how do you take away he's McDonald? Just people just say things and they're attached to their narratives. But I can't do anything more than I'm doing, Jake, than showing what we're seeing, right? So it is what it is. But yeah, again with the Bailey stuff, it's just I don't think he's going to be nearly as good. Like, and then people automatically say that Bain's going to be better than Reese in the run game, and right now he may be. But you have to consider the smarts. I think he's smarter than both those players. The diagnosing skills, the athleticism in the open field he has. I think he could be the best run defender out of all those guys, which is crazy because Bain weighs more. It's just I don't think he's going to be. He's not going to look as nimble at the NFL level. Not saying he's not nimble. He's a freak athlete for his size, but I think Reese is even more freaky. So. We have 2 plays left of the good, and I'm going to play two plays of the bad, and some of the lack of pass rush plan and stuff at times with Reese. But we're going to see him off the left edge right here. He's stand up, and I believe I don't know if he delays here or just blitzes off the edge, but we'll watch it and we'll talk about it a little bit with some of the pass rush juice he has. Again, like just how quickly he can win, and this is all against Penn State. But again, not on line of scrimmage, so it's going to be a little bit more delayed, but slight stab inside to the tackle, force him to shoot the hands again, times it again, long stride right there to corner. You don't want to take short strides. If you take short strides, instead of being more segmented to turn the corner, you want to time the hands with the feet. And if you're in a cross chop, you want to lunge a little bit, work off that instep, which is just the inside of your foot, explode to corner. Does it very, very well, nice and low. Good accuracy with the hands. You can see the bend right there, just like how low he is turning that corner. Okay, we'll see some of the athleticism, like with how low he is. Again, nice cornering, ankle flexion, all that stuff. Chases down Alar for a sack. So again, he doesn't do it all the time in terms of rushing the passer, but when he does, you see some really impressive reps while acknowledging that, hey, he has to develop his repertoire. He has to develop like stacking moves and things like that. So we're going to see some of the natural strength he has. He's on the left side again here, number 8. And I think it's a counter. So I think they pull both the guard and the tackle. I forget, but I think he takes on the pulling guard right here. So just watch him stand up on the edge. I think he pops the guard. They disengage, and then he just gets kind of skinny and takes and hits the running back. So just watch him take on the guard here. Again, so 243. Guard's pulling towards him, right? Diagnoses it, drops the weight. Again, I talk a lot about insteps, and I'll get into that a little bit more in like my full-blown reviews. It's just you're not working at a natural lever point of like your leg. If you work like towards the hinge of your leg, so if your toe is straight, it's easier to get knocked back. Or if you work against your instep and it's really planted in the ground, it's gonna be hard to knock that back unless you like it either buckles or you slide them. So really good base right there, good hands, lands the hands on first, good leverage, stands up the guard, and then he immediately flattens. hands, explodes to the inside, and takes on the running back for the I don't know if it's a tackle for a loss or a stuff. I think it's about a stuff. He gets back to the line of scrimmage or so. But again, another really good play of Reese. So let's chill with the Will McDonald stuff, because Will McDonald is not doing that. There's pretty much no way. So that's the good. And then the bad is some of the obviously, again, he has to develop the pass rushing a little bit. And there's some times he can rush a pass rush plan, whether it be like, stem a guy inside to get outside, or time the hands, or whatever it may be. And you're going to see this rep where there's no real plan here. And he kind of just puts his hands out into the tackle, and there's nothing really after that. So just watch him against the tackle. And he goes for like a bull rush, but he's not linear into it, so it's not going to be a very powerful bull rush. Like, you don't want your body to be moving up the arc as you're working into the tackle, because it's not going to generate a lot of force. So rushes up the arc, right? Hands drop into the tackle, but his lower body momentum is kind of going up the arc. He's kind of twisted into the tackle. His hands don't land first. The tackle's hands land first. Shocks him back, knocks him back a little bit with just the pure power he has, but he's not able to really stack it. He stacks it a little bit at the end there, and that kind of pulls himself through. But it's obviously, it's too late. Mendoza gets out. So I want to see a more consistent plan for him in terms of like the feet aligning with the hands, things like that from Reese. But the other plays, obviously, you could see some of that upside. So one more play. Reese quarterback pressure, not stack move. So he is to the left side of your screen right here against number 70 on Miami. So we'll watch it. And this is where we talk about like stacking moves. So he gets a quarterback pressure hit there. This is where we talk about stacking and knowing how to follow one move up with another. This is a little bit segmented for him. So this would come with a little bit more just pass rush reps and age with him. So comes off the ball, a little bit late off the ball. Rushes the tackle, and this time he's a little bit better of a job of getting his feet and his body aligned in terms of the bull rush. So does a good job, nice and linear, nice and low, hands inside on the tackle, knocks him back. So he does a good job initially. The problem comes here with stacking the moves, right? So I like the fact that he creates that knockback. He has the one arm on there, but past this, now what do we need to do? At this point, we need to rip this arm or wipe this arm away. We cannot let this arm get attached as we're trying to corner. He doesn't stack, again, air quotes, stack that move and rip it. So then that hand lands on him. You would see this nice tight arm angle into the chest, which is going to slow him down. And he's not able to fully finish and get to Beck because he didn't stack that move. So it's a good play because he created that knockback and he got the quarterback hit, but not stacking led to a pressure and probably not the sack, because it just delayed him for that quarter of a second there. So there is Reese.
Arvell Reese, ladies and gentlemen. Great breakdown there from Joe Blewett. We will do Carnell Tate coming up, but first, super chat from JN, who says, thoughts on Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah. Can see him climbing back into late first or second round. Nussmeier will be at the Senior Bowl next week, so we'll get a chance to watch him up close and personal. Did you do any film study on Garrett Nussmeier, Joe? Yeah, no, I think I was actually waiting with Chambliss too, just until he gets the nod or whatever legally. But it seems like Nussmeier's gonna be that next guy, right? So we're gonna have a review on him probably throughout the offseason at some point, but I haven't done anything on him now. Late first, early second, based on everything I've heard, and it's not like I have sources or anything like that. It seems like he's more of a second or third round guy, like a mid-second, third round guy. I haven't heard any chatter about him being late first or early second, but who knows? So I'll watch him relatively soon and we'll get back to you, because I'm going to have a full-blown Chambliss review, and then Nussmeier again seems like that next guy that people are interested in. I think people have cooled on Beck a little bit after last night. At least that was like the vibe on Twitter. So Nussmeier will be done. I'm not sure yet. Nussmeier at the Senior Bowl next week. Opportunity for him to look really good. I mean, he played through an injury this year. LSU was a mess. He got benched. I wonder if you did the film on 2024 versus 2025. What your thoughts would be on him as a prospect? Yeah, maybe that could be something we do where I'll watch like 2 or 3 games from 2024 and then 2 or 3 games from 2025, because that's kind of like the narrative around Nussmeier right now, is that he was potentially playing with an injury all this year, and that's why he looks so bad. So you have a guy after 2024 who was rumored to be, going into this draft as a
first round picks. So if he's playing injured, then maybe the Jets can strike gold in the second or third round if he was playing injured and he is actually that good. So I think I'll probably go back and watch 2 or 3 from 2024 and then 2 or 3 from this year and see the differences. Is the arm strength different? Is he less confident? What exactly happened that kind of dropped his stock? Is it just the injury or is it more?
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. Dylan Terraman writes in, I watched 2024 Nuss and early season 2025, and he was completely different looking passer. Yeah. Again, and I obviously I want to see for myself, but I'll trust Dylan there that he looked different. That's what a lot of people said. He just looked different with his just his athleticism and stuff, or his I don't know if it was like throwing power or movement, or I don't know exactly what the injury was, but we'll look into it, no doubt. No doubt about it. Comments, questions, super chats. Again, Armand Membu signed helmet. We've waited long enough. There's 400 people watching live. No one has gifted a membership. I'm gifting one right now, putting someone in our raffle for the Membu helmet. If you hear your name called, you are officially an Asmaniac channel member, and you have a chance to win this Membu helmet on the show. Hit the Fireman Ed chant. Jet fan Kev, you are the first to be entered in the raffle on the show. The raffle will be on tomorrow morning's show because we're not doing a super long show tonight. I'm going to the St. John's game tonight. The Knicks stink, so I'll watch the other basketball team in town. With respect to your Nets, Joe Blewett, that is red hot right now. Common Country, he won a signed LaDainian Tomlinson photo at our watch party 2 weeks ago. He has entered the Membu raffle for one. Don't let go, Common Country.
Just don't let go of the rope.
And how about this? Dom C is the recipient of the membership from Common Country. So a little JetX on JetX there, courtesy of Common Country. All right. Are we ready to transition to Carnell Tate, who, full disclosure, if the draft was right now, I would take him at 2. No questions asked.
Yeah. And you're talking about a little bit pre-show, but your Nets and Josh Hart are so worried about the Nets. Maybe it's because they're starting to play like the Nets. They're tanking a little bit right now. They're not tanking, but they look like they're tanking. They suck. So Josh Hart, keep the Nets out of your mouth. Leave the 5% of the New York fan base alone. We don't deserve any shots. But I think the Nets actually play the Knicks soon. So if you guys lose to the Nets, you got
Wednesday,
some serious problems. Yeah, you got some serious problems. I'll be rooting for hell like the Nets, even though the tank and all that stuff. So I want them to lose, but so I can see Josh Hart cry, I will root for the Nets. And I know I'm not with the popular fan base here, but screw Josh Hart. So let's go. Top of the screen. I like Tate. To me right now, and I could see, or for the Jets, I could see Bailey. I just don't love the fit in the run game where Reese is a similar size, but he can just play more in the run game than a guy like Bailey can. I don't think Bailey's Will McDonald bad in the run game. He just, there's a lot of like undisciplined nature and a lot of like, for lack of a better term, like patty cake in the run game where there's not like true technique there that's really translatable at times. There's more just effort. So I think he could be an option, but for me right now, it's between, and I'll like, I'll decide in a few months or whatever who exactly I want, but it's between Reese, it's between Bain, and for me, it's Tate. And we'll talk about Tyson. I watched 3 or 4 games of Tyson. I'm not as impressed as everybody else is. I think he works in the space a lot. The yak is there because he runs so aggressively, but I don't see the vision as a yak player. And a lot of the yak he gets is uncontested. And the first tackler brought him down a lot of the play I saw. And there was the one game I saw like a highlight tape on Twitter of him, and the first like 2 minutes were him just running into wide open space against like Northern Alabama. And I was like, oh, okay. It's not necessarily translatable, but when I watch him, a lot of it was just open space, and there's a lack of nuance sometimes with his route running and stuff. So I don't like Tyson as much as other people. And then you factor in the fact that he has the injuries he has. Like he's a very good athlete. I think he's probably the best athlete of all the 3 big receivers, but the nuance isn't there like it is with Lemon and Tate. So I think people will fall in love with the physicality and stuff, but not necessarily look at the nuance and stuff. And we'll see a lot of the nuance of Tate. I think he's very, very, very smooth. Like he's silky smooth to me. So I really, really like his game. So he would be an option at 2 for me. Again, between him, Bain, and Reese. I want to land one of the 3 receivers. I really do. Specifically Tate or Lemon for me. You could always trade up, like to me. I think people get infatuated with the picks and every pick's going to work out. But if you're sitting at 16 and a Tate or a Lemon slip to 10, 8, 9, 10, something like that, and you want to flip the 44th pick to land Tate or Lemon, I would be completely okay with it. If you walked out of this draft with Bain or Reese and Lemon or Tate, like, my God, I know people get infatuated with the picks, but just get stud players at the same time. There's multiple ways to do it, but
love it. Whenever you're ready, Joe, can you just screen share and we'll pull up the play?
Oh, okay. Yeah. I almost did that again. Okay. Screen share. Okay. Boom. We should be golden.
Yep. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So top of the screen, this one's going to be a vertical win for him. We'll play it through, and then we'll talk a little bit about like why he won, and against the little nuances of his route running that makes him win. He's so smooth. He lacks a little bit of size in terms of like bulk. He's 6'3", 195. So at times he can struggle to get off of press versus like really physical corners and things like that. And just the nature of college football, a lot of these guys are working in space. So a lot of college receivers are not great with their releases. So all three of these guys actually need to work on their releases. But nonetheless, top of the screen, we'll see him win for a 45-yard touchdown here vertically, and just absolutely roast this guy. And it's not just because of he got lucky or anything like that, but as you can see, the pacing that he works with, and then the rocker step he throws. So he does three things here that really win him this rep. So stems towards the corner, right? Gets in the corner's toes. So he's selling the drive phase, coming off the ball, showing vertical, right? You can see his body language, his shoulders are down, really selling that drive phase, as people talk about. You don't want your shoulders up. If your shoulders are up, it's going to indicate a break, unless your shoulders are up to fake a break, selling a shorter route or intermediate break, and then you go long, which is exactly what he does. So you're going to see the shoulders down. As he gets on the corner's toes a little bit here, the shoulders raise up. You see the head comes up now. So now the corner's kind of keyed off that, okay, maybe he's not going deep here, and he sold the drive phase to get me on my heels, and now he's going to break. So he slows it down a little bit. Like, you see how the pacing's really like it's fast at first, and then about now it slows down. So selling that, here, let me pause it. Selling that drive phase, getting on the toes. Now the shoulders coming up with the slowed pace is getting the corner to think, okay, a break is coming, right? So now he throws a rocker step. So he's going to go hard right step, which is going to make the corner think he's breaking to the inside, right to left, to then get back to the outside and then take off vertically. And we can see how the corner sits on it. He's square because he thinks the break is coming, and then roast them by 5 yards for a deep touchdown. So the working of that route stem with the pacing topped off with a rocker step, that's such a good vertical route from Tate. Super smooth and very, very pretty from Tate for the first play for a 45-yard touchdown. Okay, so now we have him bottom. Let's see, bottom of the screen, tight out, drive, acceleration. Okay, so bottom of your screen. Let's watch it. Again, selling that drive phase, and for his size, he just gets out of his breaks really, really well. I don't think he's as explosive as Tyson, but he's very, very smooth. And again, just the nuance he has versus Tyson makes me rank him above Tyson. That's not even with the injuries right now. That's even not considering the injuries. I have him over Tyson just because of how much better of a route runner he is, in my opinion. So again, coming off the ball, selling that drive phase, right? And corners thinking he's going deep, obviously, because the shoulders are down. Gets into the break, and what I really like, look how low, and again, this is for the people who like watch receivers, look how low he is into that break. There are so many receivers who sit out of your breaks and sit out of their breaks. They look like they're sitting into a chair, or their upper body is straight. What you really want when you're getting into your breaks is to almost look like you're trying to knee yourself in the face. And look how condensed he is right here. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, just like flexibility and route running right there. So let's see the steps. So he takes one stop step, two stop steps. The right foot, I'm going to call that the break foot, break, drive step. And you can see the flexibility of like how his foot is past his frame, but he's getting over top of it with his hips. So nice flexibility there. And then the next step is called the line step. So you have stop, break, drive, line in terms of the footwork. Beats the corner badly there on the out. And makes the reception. Always coming back to the ball, always attacking the ball, but just silky smooth with that out route. Really good drive, the good acceleration. The elite, that's elite footwork right there. How low he gets, that is excellent from Tate. So again, I really like him, as you could tell. So top slot, contested touchdown. So he's right here in the slot. We'll play it through. So you have a guy who can, in my opinion, he's not the best at yak in terms of like breaking tackles, but he runs hard. He has decent contact balance. To me, he could play Z. He could play slot. He could play X. I'm just a little bit worried about him getting off of press consistently. So I think A.D. Mitchell would be your X right now, with Garrett Wilson and Tate being your Z and your slot. I think that Tate can win vertically. I just have to see more versus press. But nonetheless, top slot for Tate. And by the way, can I just point out, I like doing these reviews so much more than the quarterback crap. So this is so much more fun for me, like receivers, DNs, corners, all this stuff. But just keep watching him right here, and you're going to see the contested touchdown, because he offers this as well. He can win a lot intermediately because of just how good he is route running. But then also you have the ability to contested catch. And I was on BJF show the other day, and I think he was like 8 for 12 or something like that, or 8 for 10 or 10 for 12. Like I think it's like 80% contested catch rate this year. So he's a very good contested catcher as well, just because of how he high points the ball and how good his hands are, and just like how nimble he is at times. But really nothing crazy here in terms of the route takes off vertically. What I do like is as he's passing this like this intermediate zone, he dips his shoulder there. Like you see how he reduces his shoulder. Obviously you don't want to run with an open chest. If you get caught in the open chest, you're going to get slowed down. So you want to reduce that near shoulder. He reduces that near shoulder, works past him. He's running a seam or a bender, right? So the quarterback's probably going to read 1 to 2 right here. Passes the first level, working that bender because the middle of the field is open. And then again, just the body control, the high pointing of this ball, pause it a little bit. And again, the timing of jumping for that ball, again, high pointing it, hands catch, tucking the ball quickly, absorbing, one guy on his back and another hit for a touchdown. Like very good. Clearly, right? I don't really have to, there's really not much more to say about how good that contested catch is. Fade touchdown for him.
Second pick. Blewett.
Dude, and like some people are like, oh, like we don't need 2 number 1 wide receivers. Like, why not? Like
we can't score points. Yeah, we do.
Listen, man, like and we'll see what happens. Let's just assume they re-sign Simpson and Hall, right? And maybe they draft a center. But if you have the offensive line they had last year, if you add Garrett Wilson, or you add Tate to Garrett Wilson with another year of Mason Taylor's development and hopefully a tight end too, like assuming the offensive coordinator is not a complete buffoon, like you could do a lot with that offense as a rookie quarterback. So bottom of the screen right here, this is a fade touchdown. Again, just smooth with how he pulls the ball away here, which is another really important like trait you want to have. It's a little like nuanced things that are going to win you reps in the NFL, and how he tucks that ball away is very impressive. Hitting a little bit of the dance before, but so closes ground, right? Relatively simple. Looks like he throws I can't tell if the left foot actually hits the ground or it hovers, but it's either a hop step or a skip step. It just depends if the left foot hits. It doesn't really matter. He's just closing ground, shortening the stride a little bit to then break outside on the fade, right? Breaks outside on the fade. Notice how late the hands are, right? So he's not teeing off, or he's not indicating to the receiver that the ball is coming right now. The more you hang your hands out there, the more the DB has a chance to react. So the hands are very late here, which is nice. And then what I want you to notice is how he tucks the ball away, right? So he catches the ball. He doesn't want to just tuck it down right now, because that's where the DB is. So watch how he very purposefully pulls the ball away and then tucks it into his opposite hip away from the DB. There are a lot of receivers who catch the ball, they tuck it down. DBs are taught to play through those hands, and then they play through those hands, and he pulls the ball down. The hand punches out the ball. So very, very good there in terms of the catch. And then again, specifically by pulling that ball away and to the near hip is the very little things that Tate does well. Makes me so excited about him. I'm a stickler for receivers, and there's not a ton of weaknesses with him. Now, he might not have the explosion that a guy like Tate has, but again, the nuance to me is just it's upper tier. And I didn't see that with a guy like Tyson. So let me see. He's to the bottom right here. Bottom number 17. He can rock that with the Jets. Garrett Wilson's old number. That's right. So bottom of the screen, just running a vertical here. And again, some of the nuance with the route running, I think he just shows a rocker step right there. And this one's not an easier touchdown. But what I like about this too is it's contested, but notice he rarely catches the ball with his body, which I also love. So even if this ball's a little bit shorter and he has to work back to it, he claps on the ball and he's not letting it hit into his chest. So not ideal catch technique in terms of like clapping the ball, but I still love the fact that even in a contested catch situation, he's catching that ball with his hands, contact balance to reach forward, get the touchdown. But again, so I believe it looks like they're in some type of cover 6 or quarters, and he just drives inside, so they pass it off to the inside fourth here. And again, with that rocker step, closes ground on the DB who's responsible for him. Right step, kind of going outside of the frame to the left step, which is just telling the DB that, hey, I'm breaking to the inside, then explode off the left step, hold him inside, take off vertically. Again, beating a guy easily. The ball is way underthrown there, but good job by him, hands catching it, and again, maintaining that balance for the touchdown. I have 3 plays left of the positive, then just 1 negative, and it's him getting off of press. So 3 plays left. Tate bottom, deep catch, pressure steps, hand use. Okay, so bottom, we'll watch it. We'll talk about it a little bit after. Okay, again, you can see him kind of bring the shoulders up there as well again. So coming off the ball, right, drive phase, shoulders down, closes some ground, the shoulders come up. The DB is outside leverage, so he doesn't want to just continue this route to the inside, because if he continues this route to the inside, the DB is just going to stay on it. So what he does there is throw what I call pressure steps, which is just going to basically, attack the DB's leverage for a few steps to hold him where you want him to be. So comes off the ball, and I'm playing it frame by frame on purpose so it's not lagging. Stems towards the inside, right? Because he's stemming to the inside because he wants to win this route to the inside. He doesn't want the corner to, again, just collapse to the inside. So what he does here at this point is take pressure steps. So off the left foot, 1, 2, 3 pressure steps. You're going to see how it affects the DB. You see how initially he's kind of working and weaving to the inside, and then those pressure steps hold him to the outside, flip the hips. Doesn't want to close too much ground, times it well, explodes back to the inside, and then the hand usage there too. Oh, hold on, let me pause it because it gets all sketchy if I do that. But the hand usage here too, as he's passing the receiver, chops down with the left to defeat that arm. So really good hand usage, really good route running with those pressure steps. Again, beats the defense for a deep catch right there.
Tate feels like one of the smarter receivers will do breakdowns on. Like, has a really good feel for what he needs to do to either get open or how to read a defense and be in the right spot.
And I think Lemon's similar. I don't think he's as nuanced. I think Lemon's a very good route runner, but there's times where Tate's an elite route runner. So I really, really like the route running, and then it's the upside of the catch radius and the size with a guy like Tate over Lemon. So I like Tate over Lemon, but they're very, very close, and I legitimately enjoy both of them. Lemon is an absolute dog. He offers more yak, and he makes some stupid contested catches for his size. But I really, really like these receivers. At least those two. Again, I'm not in love with Tyson as some other are, and we'll break them down, and I'll show you some of the lack of nuance he has. And again, if you watch like a lot of his yak, it's so much of it is in open space. And I watched 3 or 4 games of him, and maybe he's broken a tackle in those games, but he doesn't really break many tackles. So it's the aggression that gets him yak, and like a lot of the routes running were like short ins, 5-yard slants, like a lot of open things. And I haven't seen him bring down as many contested catches as I'd expect for his size. But nonetheless, bottom of the screen with Tate. Let's see what this one is. Oh yeah, so this one's simple, but again, very little nuances that are going to get you yards in the NFL. And again, this one looks just so simple, and it mostly is. He's not as committed to the break there because the corner is so off. But what I like here is him just setting up, and as you see, setting up the yak pre-catch. So he knows, okay, I'm running this curl, I'm running this hitch. This DB is outside leverage, but watch how he preps himself to get yak before he catches the ball, which is the important part here. Again, the very little nuances make me love receivers. Again, I think the position I'm probably the biggest stickler for is receivers and corners, and these little things really excite me. So you see how he catches the ball? He's extending that left step to then turn up the field. There are a lot of guys who might like segment this a little bit, like attack the ball and then turn, but he knows where the DB is coming from. He knows where he needs to go for some yak, working back to the ball, extending the left foot as he's catching the ball to then turn up the field. And yeah, it only gets him, 5 yards or whatever right there, but it's just a little nuanced thing that I really enjoy about him, his game, and just overall, again, how nuanced he is. So I want to point that out, even though it's a very little thing, but it matters. When you're trying to be a stud receiver. So last positive play, we'll talk a little bit about the negative I have, which is the getting off of press, but get another rocker with the pacing. Now the ball is thrown outside here. It's not the point of it. It's just him winning his routes, which he clearly does right here. And if the ball is led, it's either a touchdown or a deep completion. But it's another one kind of like we talked about in the beginning, where he comes off the ball with that drive phase. Initially, we're going to see the shoulders down as he closes that ground. The shoulders come up a little bit more now, and he's going to throw that rocker step, left foot, right foot. Now that DB is thinking, oh crap, he's either breaking to the inside or to the outside. We could see him gear down right here because he thinks the break is coming, because he's taught, okay, read those shoulders. Those shoulders are up, the break is coming. So you have to be nuanced and know exactly what that DB is thinking as well. Rocker step, explode back to him, sell the break to the inside. Nope, take off vertically, beat him. Again, balls is not put in a good spot, but I'm going to take that all day from Tate. So the one negative, and I want to see him more versus press. Again, just with the way that college football is played and how open it is, you're not going to see a lot of press reps. But I do want to see more from him in press in terms of reps, and then in terms of like add some size, get off of it better, and just like some more hand usage and things like that. So he gets jammed up right here to the top of the screen, and then that's going to be it for the review. So he's not able to create that separation. One, because as he comes off he's like straight up right here, right? So we want to be more ready for the press. We want a little bit more knee bend. When you're straight up like this, it takes more time to like load up and get out of your stance. Plus the hands are down, so you want to see the hands like more air quote like on guard and ready. So it looks like he just tries to. It's either like a shuffle. Gets a little bit lateral. Let's take a shuffle technique or just like a quick foot fire, and then tries to work to the inside. So he tries to sell him outside to get inside. Not ready for the press. Gets caught in the chest. Tries to then push through it, but he lacks that size. Again, he's 6'2", 6'3", 195, so he's not the biggest frame dude in the world. Where a guy who with a little bit more size here may be able to like lean into him, hold his line, and then snap it off. But because of the lack of size, he really gets like jammed up right there. And again, be more ready for the hands. There's a lack of reps first press. That's probably why he's not as nuanced in it. So hopefully he could develop that. But there is Tate.
I am a fan. Run the card in. Take him at 2. I'm in. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a film breakdown on the 2 Buckeyes who could be in the mix for the Jets. Other Buckeyes in the mix could be linebacker Sonny Styles. Also could be one of their just best overall just playmakers, right? How you view draft safety. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people who say Caleb Downs is worth a top 5 pick in this draft. So Ohio State with talent, and we'll certainly be doing more breakdowns on some of their players as we go along, Joe.
Yeah, we have the battle. I think I labeled it the battle of non-premiums coming up as well. So we're gonna have a Sonny Styles versus Carnell Tate breakdown. The one day again, we have Tyson versus Lemon. We have Bailey versus Bain. We have a lot of good reviews coming in the next few weeks.
Looking forward to it. Call in if you want to talk Jets. Doesn't just need to be draft. Let's get to some super chats here. Big Fella wants to know, Joe, have you done any homework on Denzel Boston?
No, so I'll. Let me hear. I'll pull up my list and I'll tell the big fella exactly who I have left. So right now I'm about to finish Tyson and Falk, and then I have Woods, Concepcion, McDonald, Boston, CJ Allen, and Jordan Love are next. So I'll by probably the next time I'm on the show, I'll have watched some Boston, but not yet. And you will be getting a Boston review on this channel. So
well, there you have it. J-Lag says Carnell Tate, G5, 80 Mitchell, Kyle Pitts, free agency, Tag Brees, utilize cap/mid picks on defense. Shout out Jake Asman. J-Lag, I like your offseason here. By the way, Kyle Pitts would not be a bad signing. He's not what he was supposed to be, but the guy is a proven tight end in this league who's productive and would help the offense a lot. So I would have no issue just oversaturating our offense with playmakers, and Pitts is certainly one of them.
Can I be a little bit contrary and say that I want a tight end who can actually block, though? Like unless you're going to use Kyle Pitts as like a big slot or like a hybrid receiver, I like the versatility of tight ends who can block. So if you could bring me in a guy who can both, I'd rather bring in a tight end who's an average receiver and a good blocker than a tight end who's just a good receiver who can't offer that versatility of blocking, because I think it's one thing that's overlooked is like how much a good tight end or good tight ends offer to an offense in terms of a guy who could block a safety but also beat him on a route. So I personally would like a more of a blocking type tight end. unless the plan was, hey, we're going to bring in Kyle Pitts, and then you don't draft a receiver. But I think drafting a receiver and bringing in Kyle Pitts, you're a little bit too like receiving heavy on your offense, where I would like a more well-rounded tight end, me personally.
That's totally fair. Curly says, have no fear. Glenn is in charge of these picks. No way he fails us.
Yeah, that's my problem with like Reese, right? Like I like Reese a lot, and I think he could be the best if he's developed, but is it Eric Washington's the D-line? I think that's the one coach like on our defensive staff who's had success elsewhere and at least has a resume. So maybe he could develop dudes. I don't know, so that's the problem with some of these picks is like who's developing them.
Coaching. It's coaching. What do you mean? Because he can do it. It's just coaching. That's all it is.
The best part about that is he's right. It is all coaching. And that is the antithesis, is that the word, of everything Aaron Glenn was not in his first year.
Yeah. Again, we'll see. Like we haven't made any, there's been no firings, right? So like he's talking about like, oh, well, we had to make sure to bring around the right staff and whatever who could develop the quarterback, but there's been no staff moves. Like, are they waiting for somebody? What's going on? Why
would you get rid of Charles London when you have him in your building?
Well, so maybe it's a big brand thing where they're bringing in Malik Willis because he clearly developed Malik Willis so well in Tennessee. He did so well in Tennessee. He had a bunch of success there before he went to the Packers, right? So maybe it's he's gonna draw on Malik Willis, which like we'll talk about the quarterbacks, but like I said it on Buffalo Jet Fan the other day. I'm almost like I personally wouldn't like Kyler Murray because I feel like he's going to bring you in like quarterback purgatory where you're not going to be bad enough to get a top 5 pick. He's going to get you 6, 7, 8 wins, but you're also not going to be good enough to win playoff games. Whereas if you don't land a quarterback this year, and again, trust me, I do not love Malik Willis or anything like that, but I'm just talking about the idea of Malik Willis is either going to boom and really hit for the Jets and we have a quarterback, or he's absolutely going to suck and we're going to have a top 5 pick. So I almost like that he's either going to be the answer or not, where Kyler Murray is just like quarterback purgatory to me. So depending on the price, maybe it's Malik Willis, Kyler Murray. Past that, it's Cousins, Mariota, things like that, so we'll see. But to me right now, like gun to my head, I rather Malik Willis because of the boomer bust nature where again, Murray's that purgatory.
Sam with a super chat. How would Tate help our offense and the other receivers? How can Engstrand use him best?
He could do everything. I do think, again, I think people tend to look at like the number one as the X, but the X is really the guy who can get off of press coverage and win vertically and like win isolated to me more so. So I think AD Mitchell is still your X. Carnell Tate could be your X as well because he has that contested catch ability deep down the field. He's just not as fast as AD Mitchell. And he still has to work a little bit of getting off of press where you're the X, you're on the line of scrimmage. So you're going to have to get off of press a little bit better. So I think Tate could play X, but I would still play AD Mitchell there primarily. And then in terms, so let's say AD is your X. And then again, Garrett Wilson could be your slot or your Z. I would probably put Garrett Wilson at slot and Tate at Z. And it's not like you can't run vertical routes as a Z. And he's a guy who he's just so, again, smooth as a route running and stuff that he can win intermediate. And that's what the Lions and Engstrand and like those type of offensive coordinators want to do. He's not the biggest in terms of like deep threat and even like the short game. It's a lot more intermediate. So I think he'd be a perfect fit on this offense. Like offer that contested catch ability. AD Mitchell doesn't really have it. Garrett Wilson has flashes of it, but he's not very consistent winning deep. I think that's where Garrett Wilson probably struggles the most in the NFL is getting off of press and consistently winning deep. Don't show me the Houston Texans highlight. I get it. It exists, but he's not consistent with contested catches. So that's something that Carnell Tate offers the offense. And then just the ability to win intermediate where Engstrand wants. He's a perfect fit for this offense.
Super chat from Curly Norman, who's a huge fan of Aaron Glenn, as you can tell with this super chat. Next raffle, signed Glenn boot or signed rope?
Give me the boot, I guess, because I think it would hold up better over time, right? Ropes get stretched out and all that stuff. So maybe I'll jump in for the raffle for a signed boot.
Well, he's a bootlicker, Glenn Butt Slipper, putting perfume on a pig and telling Jake, check his out. He's a bootlicker, Aaron Glenn Truther, holding out a rope and trying to sell us on this shit show.
The bootlickers would love an Aaron Glenn autographed boot.
I'll add it to the I'll add it to the collection. If you didn't notice, Jake, I have both of the raffle prizes right behind me right here over the shoulders, so I can add a boot to the repertoire.
Only one of those jerseys though is signed though, baby.
Yeah, you can't. It's you see it on the one right there. If like you see the little scribble, but yeah, those were added. I gotta get a little bit of a better hanger to put them on and make them look a little bit fancy. But I threw them up with some monkey hooks before the show because I've been busy as hell prepping for a baby. So it'll be a little bit cleaner in the future, but nonetheless, I appreciate it for sure.
Yeah, Joe Blewett is about to be a father of how many now? Two.
Yeah, boy and a girl, and I'm out. I'm getting snipped. I'm doing whatever I have to do. I'm not raising another child. I am absolutely done after this.
Ladies and gentlemen, congrats to Joe Blewett on the sex.
What? Calm your freaky down.
And I will play that on myself right after. Hit the like button if you guys are just tuning in. Get your draft questions in. And a reminder, we only got 2 memberships here, so this raffle is going to be tomorrow. It will carry over. Armand Membu, signed helmet, for those of you who want a chance to win that item. Plus, new set of raffle prizes features a Curtis Martin signed helmet and a signed Joe Namath helmet. And you tell me, Jet fans, what should the third prize be? Name a player, football signed by that player, helmet signed by that player, or jersey signed by that player. I'm open for suggestions. Let's see. Jets Johnny says, when the Jets go 8-9, I want Jake to get AG to personally sign a boot for me. If Aaron Glenn goes 8-9 next year, he might get coach of the year votes.
Yeah, obviously probably not because it's actually attached to wins. The same not the same conversation, but kind of a conversation we had a little bit about like Jordy Fernandez. Like he's probably one of the coaches of the year this year, but the Nets are so bad, you're not really going to get it. So, hey, if Jet Shawnee is a bootlicker, as you say, and you've been shitting on him a lot, then if you do 8-9, and I eat my words a little bit, and you eat your words, obviously it's more of a vendetta with you, then I think you have to, Jake. So get ready. Hopefully you sign that boot, dude. I would love for you to sign that boot, honestly.
Yep. I will go up to Aaron Glenn and say, please sign a boot. Please. Let's see. Super chat from Carlos. He's in our raffle for 2. Thank you, Carlos. Do not take on another team's problem. If a quarterback hasn't proven effective after several years, move on. The Jets should not consider acquiring such QBs. And he brings up Justin Fields. Yeah, but for every Justin Fields, you could point to Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Sam Darnold. So I think you got to evaluate each quarterback differently and not just have one general rule that you can't bring in someone that failed elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. There's people who work out elsewhere. It's just the Jets have never had anybody work really ever. So we're going to take somebody else's like reclamation project and make them work. Like I understand the mindset because we've been shit on so much in the past. Even get a guy like Aaron Rodgers, it doesn't work out because he tears his Achilles 4 plays in, as we know, and Justin Fields, etc. So I understand it, but if you don't land a quarterback in this draft, like they're going to want to take a shot, right? I don't think they're going to be comfortable going into the season with, whoever, Drew Allar in the 4th round and Marcus Mariota. Like I think they're going to want to hitch their wagon to something with more potential because it may be, their jobs may be on the, or they are on the line, So I think they're going to want to get a quarterback who can, get 7-8 wins and really impress Woody Johnson with the winning culture being built around here.
Let's see. Still Rock in the 80s says might have 8 to 9 wins through the next 2 seasons.
Yeah. I don't know. Is it like a blessing that maybe if you are a Glenn hater that will lose a lot of these games, we'll get a really high pick in the top 3. I think the Colts are going to be probably top 12, at least top 16. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs with Daniel Jones as their quarterback. So you'll have plenty of cap space. You'll have top 3 pick. Maybe this year you do hit D end and receiver. You don't have a dress quarterback. And the next coach is walking in with some studs on offense, tons of cap space. I don't know. And is it also a blessing that there's 10 spots open, correct, right now? Do the Jets land any of the top candidates? Like there's so many openings that the Jets are going to be in the lower tier of those spots. They're going to be 8 through 10, maybe 9, maybe 10. So are we going to land any of the good coaches? Where next year, maybe there's only like 2 teams and, we can land a good guy because of lack of options, unfortunately.
You ready to march for Arch?
No, I am not. I'm hoping they actually win some games. Like listen, they lose week 1 and 2, I'm probably there already. Like I know what's going to happen, but I can't root for it yet. And maybe Arch Manning sucks next year. Maybe it's Sayan. Maybe it's Dante Moore, who inevitably cannot avoid the Jets. Maybe it's him. But Arch did. I think And again, I'm not the biggest college football guy, but watching him later on in the season, I think if he came out this year, he may be the number 1 overall pick over Mendoza, right? Based on what he showed at the end of the season. If not, number 2 overall pick, but he'll go back. We'll see if he avoids the Jets. I don't think he'll do that. I don't know if you have any inkling on if you'd avoid the Jets or anything like that, but hey, maybe they end up with a Manning in New York again, but just opposite teams.
I don't believe he would avoid the Jets based on what Gary Myers, who speaks with the Manning family, regularly has said. Arch is not going to pull an Eli, Gary said, and the fact that Eli still lives in the area would actually entice the Jets to a guy like Arch Manning, that his family is still nearby.
Yeah, and like I know a lot of people talk about like, oh, Dante Moore avoiding the Jets and all this stuff. Like not many people have done that in the past, and like Mannings have done that, but they also have generational wealth. So like they're taking a risk, but like they have a fallback plan of millions and millions and millions of dollars and family wealth. So it's not like Manning had like he wasn't in a tight spot like Dante Moore. And it was an interesting decision with Dante Moore to go back. I still think he would have been, a top half of the first round pick, but he's betting on himself, but if he blows out his Achilles, he's going to regret it. So we'll see how the 2026 season goes for him. And it's interesting that, what's his name? Raiola, the most wannabe Patrick Mahomes I've ever seen in my entire life, is going to back him up, which is an interesting decision, but we'll see how it works out.
I really do wonder if he went there and he thought that Moore was going to declare, because I can't believe you would voluntarily be a backup when you've been playing the last couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, as soon as that came out, I'm like, okay, Dante Moore is coming out. So very, very weird decision. And again, I am not college football portal, savvy or anything like that. He can't enter the portal twice, right? Like he can't be like, nah, I'm going somewhere else now. Like I don't know how that works if you're able to, but like you said, started the last few years or whatever it was, and is now going to sign up to be a backup. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'll see. I've never ever seen anybody who wanted to be somebody else so badly than Raiola. So interesting case in Oregon.
You want a good laugh? I just saw Dylan Terraman respond to this on Twitter. So apparently Matt Nagy was the favorite to get the Titans job, and then the fan base just went nuts over the idea of hiring him. So this guy, Jake, who's a Titans fan, at Jake and Ball, as Titans fans, we get a lot of crap for our attendance problems, lack of social media presence, and fair weather nature. But the franchise was absolutely 100% going to hire Matt Nagy. All of us collectively got on here and revolted, and we landed Robert Saleh. We did this. The fact that this is the flex, we landed Robert Saleh. We did this. That is objectively one of the funniest things I will see on the internet all month.
Are you going to bookmark this and have some Jake on Jake crime in about a year or two if Saleh does not work out? Because I could see you dunking on him in a few years, because you've played into the villain role a little bit on Twitter, which is hilarious. So maybe you got to bookmark this and then revisit it. But I don't know if you've ever been to Tennessee, but I think the Jets play there this year.
They do. Aaron Glenn versus Robert Saleh. Maybe it's week one, just like it was Sam Darnold versus his old team against Saleh in 2021.
Yeah, I don't want to do a repeat of a lot of stadiums because I want to hit all 30 stadiums in the NFL. And I have, I'm only not even halfway through, so I have quite a few more to hit. But Tennessee might be a repeat because Tennessee is just wonderful. It's like the downtown, right into a bridge, right into the stadium. Yep. Very easy. I know Chicago is one of those away games. I know that's where Beast Breaker is. That stadium, though, getting out of that is a massive pain in the ass. So I did not love Chicago. You love the vibe of it, Soldier Field, all the history, but getting out, they funnel everybody into a bridge that's like yay wide. So you're basically like sardine can for about 45 minutes, just walking shoulder to shoulder with people like you're at, like a Jersey, like Bar A on Beat the Clock Tuesday where you can't freaking move. So Chicago's not the best, but yeah, Tennessee, that's an excellent spot. So if you're doing a meetup or anything like that, that's one of the spots you should definitely consider.
It all depends on the date of that game because Tennessee's great. I was there for the draft in 2019. I'd love to go to that one. LA would be a fun road trip. Chicago would be a fun road trip. We just need to hopefully get a little lucky with the schedule in September, giving us a good date.
Yeah, you kind of like, for me, you kind of got to pair like my road trips. I want to pair a good time of year with also a team that the Jets can hopefully beat.
Right.
You don't want to go to a game where they get their shit kicked in.
Yeah, like going to Arrowhead doesn't sound fun.
Yeah, great stadium, but let's wait until the Jets are maybe a decent team where they actually have a shot to win that. So like Tennessee sounds nice because they could beat them. We're like, yeah, going to LA, sure, but with the way that the Jets are coached on defense right now, McVay and Stafford versus the Jets defense, first quarter, maybe looking at like a 21-3 situation. So
I think it's Harbaugh and Herbert. Don't they play the Chargers?
Oh, okay, it's Chargers.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if, I know Herbert wasn't great in the playoffs.
We have Aaron Glenn and no quarterback, so I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. If Trubisky can dice us up, then I think that Herbert can. But it's all about the timing of the year, and then obviously the team they're playing. So if I'm going somewhere, I'm going to a place where the Jets are not going to get their brains rocked. So even though most teams did it this year, but I got to figure out my road trip as well.
Tank for Ty says next year QBs are overrated, only Arch and Moore. I wouldn't say that. We have no idea who was Fernando Mendoza before this year. None of us know.
Exactly. And I haven't watched these guys at all, but like you have Sane and you have some other guys there. So you have guys. Yeah. Nobody was talking about Mendoza really. I think Dom C was the earliest on that, saying he's like a second round guy or whatever before the season started. So he was on it quickly, but nobody was really on Moore in terms of how high he was projected. Even Simpson, we've talked about 1,000 times. It was Alar and Nussmeier and Klubnik and Sellers and Arch Manning, and none of those guys are in the top 5 anymore. So we have no idea. That's why like next year's class is better or next year's class is worse talk always just bothers me because we have quite literally zero clue.
Yep. J-Lag, Super Chat, trade 16th pick / JJ for Downs with Tennessee at 4. Interesting here. So you would trade pick 16 and Jermaine Johnson to move up to number 4 with the Titans to take Caleb Downs.
I don't like what's the value of that in the trade value chart? Like it's a second round plus probably, right? For the 4th overall pick. Now I'm assuming in this scenario, like you're grabbing Bain or Reese at 2, and then you're going to trade up for Downs. I wouldn't trade up for Downs necessarily. Like I like Downs a lot, but I don't know if I'm trading up 12 spots for a non-premium position. And Downs is great, but if I was to trade up, I would think it'd be more so for like a receiver. Like I'd rather grab Reese or Bain at 2 and then trade up for whichever Lemon or Tate falls at 10. And again, I know people are going to say, "Oh, well, we need all the picks we can get." The Jets have so many holes. I get it, but if you have a guy who's a slam dunk evaluation for you, and he's going to be a top notch receiver, you think he's going to be, I'm okay with foregoing a second round pick, which has a below 50% hit rate, probably even much lower than that, to secure a guy you really really like. Like I'm not getting attached to picks. I just want some like blue chip high end players. And again, if you could land a Lemon or Tate and a Reese or a Bain in this draft, it's an absolute slam dunk for me.
Yeah, I don't think this makes the Jets better. Now, I do think if you want to spin the conversation forward off of this, Saleh now being a head coach, Ulbrich being retained as the DC in Atlanta, if you want to project a Will McDonald trade or a Jermaine Johnson trade to one of those teams, I think that is certainly possible. But I wouldn't trade JJ to move up. If anything, well, let me ask you this. Who's more valuable to the 2025 or now 2026 Jets? Is it McDonald or Jermaine?
Yeah, it's honestly a hard question to answer. Like after the draft, it's going to be interesting too to see who they do draft, because if you draft the Reese, like he's going to obviously if you're playing with JJ, he's going to play more on the weak side, which is where McDonald is. So then McDonald becomes like a true 3rd round rusher. Where like in certain situations, like again, like simulated pressures, like whatever it is, you could stand up Reese and put McDonald on the edge or things like that. So you can find a way to make it work, but I don't think it's the best fit with Reese and McDonald. Same thing with Bailey. If you have Bailey and McDonald, like Bailey, there was quite a few run reps, like first and second down, they didn't play, and he was like a 3rd down guy for Texas Tech. So that doesn't fit great with McDonald. So if you're to bring in a Reese or a Bailey, then I definitely think you'd have to get rid of McDonald over a JJ. And that's why Bain is such an interesting option, because I think Bain would play first and second down on the outside with McDonald just on the bench. And then 3rd down, just like JFM, you flex him inside to 3 tech. And then you have JJ, McDonald, Bain, and Briggs all rushing at the same time. So he's the most seamless fit if you are assuming they're going to run a 4-3. So I think that JJ is probably the better fit on the team, especially in accordance with the draft. But in terms of value, it's hard, right? Because JJ is the more well-rounded player. JJ, not this year, but typically, let's assume that it was the injury this year that hampered him. He's a guy who is at least like a solid run defender, but he's more of like an effort pass rusher. Like he's not a guy who's going to get you 12 sacks a year. Like he's going to get you an effort 6 to 10 sacks a year, maybe. Not last year. He wasn't very good as a pass rusher, but McDonald offers you that 15, 16 sack ceiling. Like he legitimately does. Like if Saleh was here, they're actually up in games or whatever. So it's an interesting conversation. I would probably take JJ just because of the well-roundedness, while acknowledging that McDonald's pass rush ceiling is much higher, just not a great fit with what Glenn likes and how it kind of relates to the draft.
Joe, you are the man. I appreciate you hopping on, and I'm looking forward to more prospect breakdowns as we get closer and closer to the draft.
Yeah, we got I forget what next week is. I think it's Bain versus Bailey. I think is the next show we're gonna do. I don't know if it's gonna be next week because you're going to the Senior Bowl, so enjoy that. So I guess in 2 weeks we're gonna talk some more DN tape,
and I'll have a full report on watching David Bailey in person at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
Too.
I'm expecting a report on Bailey and probably Nussmeier are the top guys to watch there. I don't know. Again, I'm not super privy with like all the Senior Bowl stuff, whatever else it is, but those are two guys who are on my radar for sure.
100%. Ladies and gentlemen, he's Joe Blewett. Check out his breakdowns, JetX, his YouTube channel as well. Excellent stuff from Joe there. I'm going to stay on and get your calls. Right now, there's only 2 people on hold. So if you want to get in on the conversation, now you certainly can. And of course, make sure you enter our raffle if you want a chance to win a signed Armand Membu helmet. Let's see. Curly Norman wrote in earlier, if someone is good to pick at 4 or 5, why is 2 too high? Will the guy be good or not? And I bring this comment up because when we were doing the Carnell Tate review, people were saying, oh, it's too high to take him at 2. But every mock draft has him going 4 or 5 right now, right? Or 6. So if he's good enough to go in the top 6, he can't go at 2. Who cares? If we're doing a redraft, guess what? Garrett Wilson doesn't go 10. Like, get good players. Jamar Chase doesn't make it to, what was he, pick 6 or pick 7 when the Bengals took him? So it's a very unique draft. There's no, like, Myles Garrett in this draft. I would have no problem taking a weapon. None. Speaking of weapons, this guy is an absolute weapon.
Can you guys hear me, Jake?
Dildos.
Oh man, so I was live last night, so we were just breaking down the defensive coordinator candidates. So the Jets have interviewed 8 defensive coordinator candidates. Matthew Rayho, corner coach of the Dolphins, Efrain Banda, safety coach of the Cleveland Browns, DeMarcus Covington, run game coordinator of the Green Bay Packers, Chris Harris, interim defensive coordinator, Durante Jones, the corner coach, Jim Leonard, the Broncos defensive backs coach, Wink Martindale, former defensive coordinator, and then Jim O'Neill, the Lions safety coach. So I was breaking down the film, I was breaking down film last night. I feel like the Broncos defense is really impressive. I think my number one candidate that so far is my number one candidate for right now, Jake Asman, is Jim Leonard. What's your thoughts on Jim Leonard? Because, he shows a lot of good pressure.
I like him.
I think he's a great defensive coordinator. I was breaking down film. I actually have some. We're gonna break down some film right now, Jake. I don't know. Am I allowed to present the screen?
No, you're not.
You're not. Come on.
No.
but really, what the film breakdown tells you is that the Broncos they do a really good job with the gap integrity. And then with the Commanders defensive coordinator, their running backs coach, their running game. My bad. I meant.
Hey, Mad Max, it's tough to see you. You're blinding me by your light. Can you angle your computer differently?
It's because the light is on. I need to turn on the Malachi light.
Why don't you just move your computer down? Move your computer down. You can just move your computer down so the camera is pointed down.
That's better, right, Jake?
Now it's too dark. I can't see you.
You can see me.
No, it's too dark.
Oh, man, but that light is so bright, Jake. But
well, why don't you turn it a different direction? Your camera.
Okay. Is this
the other direction? Now it's too bright. Now I'm blind.
Oh man. Can you see me if you see me? See if you see me.
I can't
now.
see you. You're blinding me by the light. Move away from the light. Your camera a different direction.
Sounds good. You know what? Let me go in the living room. Let me move the living room. This light's too bright. Let me move. See if this is better, Jake. See if this is better. Is this better, Jake? Or is
it's even brighter. I can't see.
See, this is is this better, Jake?
It's too dark. I can't see you now.
Oh man, I don't know why my apartment's just so bright. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Let me see if I can get a lower light.
Hey, can you put on a light? I can't see you. That's too bright now.
Why is this? Oh man, but
is
it a better, Jake?
It's a little better. It's tough though. There's a giant light on your right shoulder.
Oh man, but we were just talking about.
Why don't you fill in the gap of where the light is? Move to your right.
This is better.
No. Now stand up. All right, now we'll go a little lower. A little lower. Yep.
Is that better?
A little more to your right. No, other direction now. Now move up slightly. Stand up a little bit. And move over a little to your right. Smidge to your right. Right there. Don't move. All right, continue.
Is that good, Jake? So what I meant was DeMarcus Covington. I was break down the film of the Packers defense against the Commanders. You know, what I really like about Covington with he really like is very good with like teaching these like Packers defenders, you know. So one of the plays it was a Commanders Packers game. Like there was a film, you know, Dane Daniels was trying to like pass it to running back Bill Crossy, but the Packers defenders were like did a really good job, like really being aware of like the run game, what he was trying to do with Merritt, you know. So I think, but overall, I think Jim Leonard is my number one, but Wink Martindale is my number two candidate for defensive coordinator. But I feel like once you break down the defense, you know, I don't know if you're gonna do this with Joe Blewett. Yeah, but you gotta break down like what the defense, like each of the defensive coordinators, we got to break down their defenses, like how do they do in the run game, how you do in the pass game. Because I've done film breakdowns on Jim Leonard and DeMarcus Covington and then Bana so far, and I feel like from film breakdowns, I think Leonard's impressed me the most. But what do you think of the defensive coordinator candidates? What would you rank them 1 to 8?
Jim Leonard 1, everyone else 7.
True. I know like there was an article by Jack Factor, but I would rework it. I think Jim Leonard would be my number one candidate. Martindale would be number 2, and then I think DeMarcus.
Mike Perez says Max Lilly calls in and says the same thing Jake says, or just said louder.
I just agree with everything Jake says, you know, because I'm breaking down the film, you know, so I'm just breaking down the film, but Jim Leonard's the best.
What film are you breaking down, Mad Max?
I'm breaking down the film from these. I found some film guys on YouTube that they break down.
So you're breaking down the film of the film guys breaking down the film.
Yes, sir. You know, so it's really like the film guys, and I'll reiterate like what the film guy says. You know, they were playing like 2 zone and stuff. But let's see if Joe Blewett does that on film. Honestly, let's see if Joe Blewett is going to do film breakdowns of these defenses.
Hey, I can't see you. Your face keeps getting cut off.
Oh no, it's not Jake. But honestly,
Mike Perez says breaking down the film with his punches.
Honestly, yeah.
Alfredo says plagiarism is bad.
Oh man, I'm not plagiarizing. Come on. But honestly, Chris Harris is last place. You know, if I was ranking these defensive coordinators, Chris Harris number 8, Arejo number 7, Banda 6, Covington 5. No, I mean O'Neal 6, Covington 3. But really, I don't have a top 8 yet. But I think Leonard's impressed me the most, honestly. And go Jets, Jets.
Hey, veteran Jets fan says Mad Max is breaking down the film of Abella Danger.
Oh man, Abella Danger, he's not. But honestly, guys, you know, you got to like praise the Lord tonight before we go and go. Jets.
Are you familiar with Abella Danger's work?
Nah, I'm not aware of it.
She's a big University of Miami fan.
Nah.
Were you watching the game last night?
Oh, I was watching the game, but it was a very impressive win by Indiana to win the national championship. Honestly, Jake.
What did you think of this blonde fan they showed?
Oh man, she looks pretty.
Are you familiar with her game?
What is she, like a cheerleader?
She's played that role before.
She should definitely be cheerleading the Rowan team. Honestly, she would be a good cheerleader.
Boomtown says Mad Max gets halfway through his list of 8 and then says he doesn't have a list.
Because I need to break down more of the defensive coordinators, and then I'll have a ranking. But I was really getting the ranking off of Jets. The ranking I got was off of Jets article, but I was going to re-rank some of the coordinators,
So do you have any of your own original breakdowns and lists here, or you're just taking other people's breakdown of film and lists to formulate your breakdown of film and list?
I kind of get my own film breakdown, Jake. But we're gonna get my own film breakdown of the game. We're gonna use the all 22 because that's the best that's the best way to see film, Jake. Honestly, but everyone, praise the Lord tonight. Pray that everyone, all the Asmaniacs, stay safe and healthy in this January. It brings all positive changes to your life, and go Jets.
Mad Max, thank you for blessing us with this wonderful call.
Sounds good.
Ladies and gentlemen, everyone. Mad Max.
If Mad Max ain't yapping about Jets, that boy, he's jamming. He's standing, freaking dancing, wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stop yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
Oh, man. Honestly, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Max. We have 98 subscribers, so any of you Asmaniacs are interested in my content, subscribe to Max's New York Jets.
What are you guys' opinion on me doing a backflip through this orange wall?
Ladies and gentlemen, Mad Max. From Mad Max to a man who might be mad. Beast, you awake? Beast? Beast? Beast, are you up? Beast? I can't tell if he's in this bed or not. Beast? Let me do some digging here. Let me see if I can figure this out. Beast, you there? Beast? I don't hear him. Usually you can hear that beast snore from anywhere. Beast? Rich says Beast might be doing a huge international business deal. Bill says earning his money, I see. Jay says tough 2 calls. Beast found out who Abella Danger was. She's an oral professor. That's who Abella Danger is. All right. Well, I mean, Beast is asleep right now, so that's it. I got nothing else. No one else is on hold. That's a show, folks. It's a shame. Wanted to talk to Beast. Find out what he made of Joe Blewett's film breakdown. What he made of the Carnell Tate, Arvell Reese conversation. But I guess we will never know. We won't. We will not. All right, on that note, that does do it for us. Big fella wanted to know what was Max's GPA last semester. We'll have to ask him that next time. Oh, hold on. Breaking news. Whoa. Whoa, here we go. Here we freaking go.
Pew, pew, pew. Abracadadoodle.
He is awoken. The beast is here.
I was just making my hot cup of tea out of my favorite cup that the big fella gave me. The chicken cup. Love that thing. It's great. Yeah, it's 20 degrees. And tomorrow morning, I'm going to Menards. Because if that super frozen Arctic blast is coming its way, there's an old saying. Get prepared, look prepared, Because if you ain't ready and you're not prepared, you're going to be, that ball go right over your head like you basically saw a ghost. And knowing me, I don't like ghosts, but except you can call your neighborhood Ghostbusters. So what are we looking at? For next year? Because this year, we're definitely getting Mendoza. You can bet your sorry ass we're going to get him one way or the other.
How are we going to get him?
3 things will always tell you. The mind, the body, the spirit, and a little bit of faith. You need 4 things in life. Faith is you're also going to need to learn. Because if you don't have any faith, you ain't got nothing in yourself.
Woo!
You
Ka-ching!
Believe in yourself. Learn to believe in yourself.
Happy New Year!
Now I'm going to say it. Now we're definitely going to do it. We are going to do it. And do we stringing the cheese. I was going to say, if the fans don't want to get behind me on this one, then they're not believers. Because why? I know when it's time to say, time to put our big boy pants on, get our boots tightened up, and believe in one thing.
Woo! Ka-ching!
We can do it. We can do it. Yes, we can. We can. That was 2025. This is 2026. Step up or get off. Don't let go of the rope. What rope are you talking about? This whole team looks like it's shot to shit. Who the hell you think you are? I am. That is true. We have to grow balls. Grapefruit-sized balls. I don't like grapefruit. I don't like seafood because I get allergic to it and try to break out in goddamn hives because I got problems with that.
Big fella says, or excuse me, Pino says.
That is true, Jake, because I cannot eat seafood. No. Allergic reaction.
Hey, Bino says, is that a gravy stain on your shirt?
Nah, a little oil slick because cleaning up some stuff today. Plus I'm getting ready for tomorrow, too. I'm going to Menards. Food for less now. Friday, I got to go to a wake. But that's not going to be for long. I'm going to go there for like 30 minutes because funerals for me lately, I just can't be around certain people because, there are certain people that are, decent, and then there are some that are asshole. That's why, do what you need to do, say what you need to say, finish it up, and then, move along with the next caller. It's like how business works.
Hey, B, Spencer Green says, call the Raiders and work a deal.
Why don't you worry about yourself there, Spencer, and leave Jake alone because he's got enough on his plate. Why don't you pay him the $100 that you owe him, jackass?
Hey, Gator says, ring light, stay puff.
You mean the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters? As a matter of fact, yep. Hold on 1 second, Mr. Gator. Drink up.
Hey, what does stringing the cheese mean? Boom would like you to clarify.
Stringing the cheese. George Carlin said this a long time. It's called playing with the pud. Don't ask. I've watched most of George Carlin's stuff. I got all of his stuff on DVD. It's funny as all hell. And another second one of my favorites is Andrew Dice Clay. I've been listening to him lately in my sleep, and I'm also listening to a lot of space music. That actually helps. Did you know about that? If you listen to space music at night, and it actually calms the body, it actually calms the mind, and it calms the soul. I don't know why, but it works. It freaking works. Just put on the words deep sleep for space music. You'll fall asleep to it and you'll be like, but not enough about all that space stuff in the space-time continuum. Let's go worry about our winning the free agent market first. I would like to see Tyrod Taylor go, and I would like to see Crybaby Fields go. They both have to go for 2 reasons. One,
here's some space music for you.
I'll have to. This sounds real good, not too bad. But Tyrod Taylor has to go for several reasons. He's too old. He's too banged up, and we don't need someone that is past his prime. Crybaby Fields does not have the drive in him because he's a bum. I mean, the guy can't do it. He's a crybaby. I can't stand crybabies. If you can't hack in here, then don't come here. That's what we're trying to tell you. We rely on youth. We don't rely on old. Jim Ross will tell you from 1996 when the WWF was trying to go youth. That's why we're trying to say it. We're trying to rely on the youth. That's what we want. That's what the team needs to do. Rely on the youth. Because if you don't rely on youth, you ain't going to have shit. For the future, you want to build on something that you want to build. Defense needs a hell of a lot of help. Offense needs a little bit of grow. Balls. Grapefruit-sized balls. I don't like grapefruit. I don't like seafood because I get allergic to it and so I break out in goddamn hives because I got problems with that.
Beast, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, now that's a show. What a way to end. Thank you to Joe Blewett for joining us. You guys are the best. Love all of you. We are going to be back tomorrow with 2 more shows. 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. One of them will probably be some sort of mock draft post-national title game, get a feel for where people are at. Is Bane the guy at 2 now for the Jets? Has he emerged as the guy? Not so fast, my friend, I'd say, to quote Lee Corso, but we got a lot of time from now and then. I'll talk to you guys soon. Hit the like button before you get out of here. Get us over 200 likes. It's much appreciated. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel if you haven't done so already. Again, thanks to everyone who continues to tune into the show. Despite the fact the Jets are bad, we are all in this together. I will talk to you guys soon. Jets, 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 Jets. Can you give us like a boxing tutorial on the show?
So the jab, that's a 1. Right cross.
You think you take Beastbreaker?
I'm pretty sure I could beat Beastbreaker in a fight.
What gives you the confidence?
The physical appearance of Beastbreaker and having been in countless fights.
What do you mean the physical appearance?
He can't get out of bed.
That's not true. He definitely can get out of bed. He's up. Yeah.
That's training 101. Welcome to my class, Gary.
Hey, he did get out of bed. Good for you.
Get up, sunshine. Ah! I think it's called fear, son. I think it's called fear.
Yeah. Sit down before you have a heart attack, Beast.
That's scary enough to knock my out. Come on, look, you little fuck. I got something for you. Come on down. Who's next? Come on. Who wants a little?
He looks to be in great physical condition.
Yeah, baby.
Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. The enemy confronts you, he's the enemy. Just bring it all you got. You're all just a bunch of little babies with no guts.
I mean, I learned a lot there, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran out of oregano. I was like, ow. You know how that fun is. It never ends. Yeah. It's always one thing after another. You know how that works. Yeah. All right, what do we got here at the grand total?
28.45.
28.45. I'll take care of you. Don't worry. 1 second. 1, 2, 3, and 4.
He just told us his pin.
Service with a smile. That is the sexiest thing you're ever going to see. And
hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.